Hello? Okay, I don't know what's. Hang on, guys. Oh my gosh. Um, yeah, sorry I'm late. I just totally lost track of time. And, yeah. And my chat isn't working for some reason on my broadcasting software. And let me catch up with what's going on in chat. I'm sorry, you guys. Hello, Eileen and Annie and Ilya. And yeah, I hope you don't lose power, Eileen. And all right, I think I'm caught up. Am I caught up? Okay. I don't know why my chat isn't working over here, but I can't see it. Anyway, hello, guys. Um, sorry I'm late. So, today, no, I'm fine. I'm just an absolute scatterbrain. I mean, I don't know. I don't think that that's news to any of you. I'm pretty sure you know what kind of a scatterbrain I am. My bangs look super short. My hair looks ultra pink. Wow. Welcome, Meta. Okay, so, uh, yeah, I don't even know where I am today. All right. So, if you guys remember the painting I was working on the last time we got together, this is actually it. I know it doesn't look like it, but I I decided that the direction I was going with it was not the direction I wanted to go. Um, Thank you, Ilya. I appreciate it. It's just my color conditioner. It got really intense this time. Um, yeah, so the way the painting was going before, it just didn't feel like it didn't feel like me. Um, I think I could have pushed through it and finished it and it would have been fine, but I'm trying I'm rejecting that. Um you guys above everyone else, you guys know that that's kind of a position that I've existed in for years is painting things that I don't really want to paint because I think others want them, finding no satisfaction in that because doing something creative that you aren't connected to emotionally, it doesn't it doesn't satisfy you creatively. It can frustrate you creatively, and so I have decided that I don't want to do that anymore. And that's kind of what that painting felt like. It wasn't bad. It just wasn't what I wanted. So, Eileen, go for it. It's just hair. So this is the exact same canvas. This is that painting. I put copper leaf all over it so it's super shiny. And I kind of like the texture when the copper or when the leaf like rumples up. You can kind of see it here. You can see it more in person, but I like when it rumples up. So anyway, that's where we are. What are you guys working on today? Is anybody doing anything while we hang out? Um, yeah, I have not done any of my challenge images. I am so bad at challenges, you guys. I feel like I'm struggling really hard lately. Not like in a depression kind of way. I'm not really feeling that. Um I feel like I've got such an impossible just following through on things and just being present for the things that I want to do and doing them and sticking with them. I feel like I'm struggling so hard with that right now. Just I want to paint every day, but I'm lucky if I get in here and paint once a week. Like, legit. It's it's not it's not great. Welcome, Christy. Um, you're packing. Where are you going, Meta? Um, and oh, I'll go see Ilya. And Annie's been swatching with Inktense. Yay! Um, yeah. Anyway, I just feel like I've been struggling with follow through and motivation and things lately, and more so than normal. you know, I always struggle with those things, but I think this feels more so than normal. Um, so anyway, um, I welcome Ma. I'm gonna be using. This is a chip brush. You guys have any of these? I mean, this is like a garbage brush. I bought a pack of 6 of them in different sizes. Like, I haven't used this one yet, and you can see it's kind of puffy. They're super cheap. I think it was like $8 for 6 of these. And this one, can you see how thin the bristles are? Because I've used this one. But I'm kind of loving these brushes. They are really good for like just some scrubbing, and like I did most of this background putting in the dark anyway, just with the chip brush. And I think in the new year I want to expand the tools that I use. Just, for a long time, especially when I was making videos, I felt like, well, I have to only use the brushes that I make, because what's the point of selling brushes if I'm going to use not my brushes? But I'm not selling brushes anymore, so I can use whatever heckin' kind of brush I want to use. Meta, that's exactly it. ADHD, we want to do all of the things but don't always have time for all of them. And it's that, but it's also ADHD comes with like executive function disorders. And if you're not ADHD and you've never experienced that, it sounds like excuses. It sounds like I'm just looking for a reason why I am lazy. But so executive functioning disorders are like, you want to do something. There's something you desperately want to do. And I know everybody goes through this, but if this is like your baseline, that's when it's a problem. But there's something you really want to do. But the thought of getting up and doing it is so overwhelming that anxiety rises in you, just thinking about doing it. And or you do force yourself toward it, but your brain kind of takes over and says, no, you're doing it wrong, or you're not, whatever. It just starts messing with you. You're moving. You bought that house with the red? Oh, exciting. Okay, Meta, here's what I'm going to need from you, okay? I'm going to need you, when you move into that house, to set it up to look abandoned. Maybe with a funky old chair, and take a picture of that for me, okay? Just kidding. You don't have to do anything that I say, but that was a cool room. I really liked it. So, yeah. Anyway, that's my current struggle. I think I told you guys I have an appointment on the 30th to go through like formal testing. And I'm really nervous about that, but I'm hoping that it can lead to like some better options with, you know, my therapist. Maybe that will open up some kind of therapy thing that she offers. Maybe medication, so that, you know, I don't get in my own way, because I feel like that's what it is. I'm getting in my own way right now, and it's kind of tough. Anyway, how are you guys? I know it sounds like I'm like in a bad place, and I don't mean for it to sound like that, because I'm not. I'm actually doing pretty good. I'm just frustrated that I can't get off my butt and do things that I need to do, that I want to do. Thanks, friend. Alright. So yeah, didn't like that painting where it was going, so back to my moody metallic paintings it is. And I think I enjoy these metallic paintings so much, not just because it's, you know, it looks a certain way, it carries a certain vibe to it, but also because it's challenging. It's super challenging to paint like this, because I'm not using any opaque colors. I'm using, let's see, on this one I've got Payne's Gray, Diox Purple, Green Gold, and then everything else is metallic. And metallic paints are not opaque. So they take layers and layers to even, you know, get some coverage. And it's super challenging. It can be frustrating, but I feel like in a good way. But I'm starting to collect like every metallic color I can find. And I've discovered that a good way to lighten copper without mixing an opaque color into it, which just makes it look chalky and weird, I'm mixing a little bit of gold and this Utrecht iridescent white. You can see it up at the top here. That's the actual paint. So it's been fun experimenting with it and seeing what I can do. God, you guys can't even really see that. It's so hard to get it on camera. No. I understand that. It will help, but it doesn't fix. Absolutely. But I think what I'm looking for in medication is it definitely helps with executive function, because executive function is tied to dopamine and all that stuff. And that's what the medication does, is it helps regulate dopamine. So if I can at least have a little bit of executive function, I can do things. So anyway, Christmas is in a couple of days. Can you even believe it? I can't even believe this year has gone by so fast. Wasn't it just New Year's? I feel like we just had New Year's. Does anybody do anything fancy for New Year's? We talked about Christmas last time. But you can tell me what you do for Christmas if you weren't here for that too. That's okay. We're just going to be going to my brother's house and hanging out with some family, and that's about it. Thank you, Ilya. I appreciate it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Meta's new favorite color combo is Diox Purple and Phthalo Green. Yeah. Yep. Gorgeous, gorgeous. Like dark, dark navy blue. Yeah, that's a magical color combination. I really love the green gold diox mix when I'm working with copper because that it gives a brassiness to the colors that is really, really nice. But yeah, uh, diox and phthalo green is very magical. Yeah, this painting feels much more like me than that last one did. Kind of going for like a tin type look here. So like old tin type photography, you know how you would have like whatever's in the middle would be in like sharp focus and everything else is almost like almost smeared, just blurry. So I'm kind of wanting something like that happening in here. Payne's Gray mixed with phthalo green and phthalo blue. Ooh. Yeah, I bet that is a delicious color combination. Payne's Gray mixes so beautifully with cool colors. Um, yeah, mixing Payne's Gray into any kind of blue or purple or anything like that is really, really a nice way to darken it without it losing life like Mars Black can. Let's see. I need to pull some more trees forward. Those are just all my distant guys. Let's do a little splattering. Actually, I don't even know why I'm using this white because mixing it with the copper gives me like a almost like a rose gold color. So I could just use rose gold instead, but yeah. Um yeah, so let's talk about what we want to do next year. I know we've kind of chatted about it a couple of times. Eileen messaged me and said that she wanted to do some pen and ink stuff in the new year, and I am all for that. Um, I think we talked before about potentially doing like an oil day, like a watercolor day, like kind of setting those type of things aside and doing them a little bit more regularly. and I am all for that too. But what other ideas do you have? Just pie in the sky, could be the weirdest idea you've ever had. But what other things do you think that you might like to kind of do in the new year? I'll let you think about it for a second while I put you on mute and blow dry this. Yeah, Loomis, we did talk about doing that, huh? I look like freaking Aunt Gladys there. It's just because my hair is so white right there and the vibrancy is up so high. Anyway, I look like I have a bowl cut on the front half of my head. Just ignore that. Yeah, Loomis. Um, I definitely want to do some of that. I told you that I bought a book about seriously perspective. I kept wanting to say progressive. I'm like, it's not that. I bought a book on perspective, um, so I can speak just a little bit more intelligently on it. Um, yeah, I would definitely like to expand beyond just, you know, acrylic painting techniques, which will always kind of be my base, but doesn't mean that it's the only thing that I want to do. Is that dry? I did lay that pretty heavy on there. Let's see if you can see it better, if it gets a little... No. Not really. That's okay. Okay. But yeah, I want to do some of that. And I guess that's it. Let's see. Let's get a bit of this. Remember, in January, after New Year, we're gonna have our first live event. I want to do like on a Google Hangout or something, so we can all chat. I think that would be fun. I want to do it regularly because it gets to be a lot when there's a bunch of people who are all trying to talk or whatever. But it's fun for a one-off. So I'll keep you guys informed on that, and that will be for everybody. That will be both tiers, so it won't be all exclusive. Oh, Elia posted something on Discord. Let me go see. Oh, I love your cracked mug, Meta. You guys have been seriously doing so good on your challenges. Oh, wow. Ilya, that is a creepy doll, and I am there for it. Love your hot pink underpainting. Yeah, she's spooky. And she's great. Good job, Ilya. I can't wait to see how she comes out. I feel like Bob Ross with this big fat brush. This image feels it feels very 70s to me. It kind of feels like a painting that would have been at my babysitter's house in the 80s. Her house was very trapped in the past, we'll say. Lots of 60s and 70s stuff going on in there. And a lot of wood paneling in the house, which I say that like it's a bad thing, but I myself am a fan of wood paneling. This just feels like a painting that would have been hanging in her house for 20, 30 years. And I'm okay with that. You guys are so quiet today. Kind of getting hooked on these chip brushes. If you want to try chip brushes, seriously, just go to like the hardware store. They were just in a pack. I have 3 different sizes. So I've got this little one and then a medium and a large one too. And they're dirt cheap. And they do not last. But because they're dirt cheap, it doesn't really matter if they last or not, does it? What next? Oops. Is anybody here going to have snow for Christmas? We're supposed to have a thunderstorm. I've never experienced a thunderstorm on Christmas. I've actually never experienced mid to high 50s all through December either. So this is definitely an odd, very, very odd year. The weather we're having right now, this is like October weather. There we go. Ooh, that's looking better. Just anchoring those bushes to the ground a bit. No, they're not synthetic. Those chip brushes, they are the hog hair bristle. So if you don't want to use them because of that, I understand. I try to keep my hog hair usage kind of low. I just don't love that idea, but sometimes you gotta. Like a brushes 101. I did one years ago, but I could probably do kind of an updated one. Oh, wow. You're going to have a super cold one with no snow, huh, Ilya? Do you usually get snow at Christmas? Like, historically, we usually get snow at Christmas, but it's been the last, I would say, 10, 15 years or so. It's been much less snowy at Christmas than usual. Abstract. Oh, yeah. Yeah, good, Christy. I'm glad that you brought that back up. I totally forgot that we did that. But yeah, I do really like that technique, and you can use it in a million ways. You can actually use it for for like real paintings too. I don't mean real paintings like abstract's not real, but I mean like an image like this. You can use that same technique. So yeah, we can definitely dig into that technique more, and I can show you some more applications for it. See, whenever you add light, guys, you gotta go back and make sure your darks are in there. Because after I did all those little, stabby stabs with the lighter color, I felt like we kind of got this big polka dot of a light color. It didn't really look like the ground, it just looked like a mess. But I'm just taking a little bit of kind of diluted Payne's Gray with matte medium, and just adding bits here and there, like even here inside this light area, and now we've got like a little clump of something growing there rather than just a big blurry blob. You can kind of see, looking at my computer, another one over here. And then we will pull that out more, because once you add that, then it kind of starts to look a little polka dotty or strange. Just taking advantage of layers. More brushes, okay. Meta, I really don't use different brushes for different mediums. I use, like, this jar of brushes, this is my acrylic brushes. I use them for watercolor too. Probably I shouldn't. I have a very similar set of brushes that I use for oil, simply because you don't want to mix oil and acrylic brushes. other than that, I really don't too much. A lot of people like the really soft, natural hair brushes like Sable and Squirrel and things like that for watercolor, the super soft bristles. Um, I have some. Sometimes I use them. Sometimes I don't. I typically will not use these brushes with with watercolor though, simply because the hard bristles will rip up the paper. But other than that, yeah, that's starting to look really good. Um, yeah, I'm not that person who, you know, has to have very specific brushes for this or for this or for this. I am much more about using what I have on hand. It's probably laziness. I don't want to get up and go find a watercolor brush, so I'm just going to use whatever brush I have at hand. But it seems to work for me pretty good. I remember my brush guy, you know, when I was making brushes, he would kind of, I don't know, maybe it was just because he wanted me to buy more, you know, order more products from him, but he was like, you really should have different brushes for watercolor and, you know, sell different brushes for watercolor. Don't sell the same ones for watercolor that you do for acrylic or oil. And I was like, yeah, that's just because you want me to make a whole new line of brushes that I have to buy from you. And I didn't want to do that. That was just a lot. And it kind of felt like a cash grab for me. I was like, I don't really want to be like, and here's your watercolor brushes. Because that felt disingenuous because I didn't personally see the need for a set of watercolor specific brushes. And I wasn't just looking for cash grab. So, yeah, it really is. It really is overwhelming. And what I can say about that is um, a couple of things. First, the texture of the brush should kind of dictate the type of paint you're using. So, you know, my brushes like this, they're very stiff, very, very stiff, strong flick back. So these are really good for heavy body paints, for moving large quantities of paint. And a brush like, let's see, oh, it's over here. I actually hate this brush, so I've started cutting it. So that's not what it was shaped like. I've cut a lot out of here, but it's much softer. And when a brush is very soft, it doesn't have the strength to push around thick, heavy paint. And so then you can kind of struggle. However, if I wanted to very softly dust like some of the copper over the surface, kind of like I was doing with this brush when you guys first got here, this would be much more it would work much better for that because I'm using very thin amounts of paint. No need to answer now. Well, since I've already started. Yeah, this would be better for moving thin amounts of paint. Watercolor brushes are very, very soft. Let's see, I've got one right here. All I have is this one little one, but you know, it's very soft. It's hair. And so that tells you that it's not really going to work real well with thick, heavy paint. It wants something softer and smoother. The other thing I'll say about it is experiment. You don't know what you like until you know what you don't like. So buy some brushes, maybe buy affordable, cheaper brushes to start with, and see, do I like these stiff natural bristle brushes, and what do I like them for? And eventually you'll just start to know what kind of bristles you like and what you like to use them for. And it does take a little bit of trial and error. That's why I say don't go buy like a bunch of expensive brushes straight out of the gate. Just buy a bunch of cheap brushes that are different, and then you'll start to figure it out. Then you can start to buy more expensive brushes. You know, if you know, oh, I really like the natural bristle, then go buy some. You can buy some really expensive natural bristle brushes. So the Jets are out in full force today. If you hear all that rumbling. My whole house was shaking like an hour ago. Ooh, and brushes you've bought that you decided you don't like, keep them, because always can find a good use for them. Like this brush. Hate this brush. Have never used this brush and liked it. Not until I gave it a massive haircut. See what I did to this poor brush? Now it's my grasses brush. But we talked about that too, doing like making your own brushes. So I would definitely like to do a making your own brushes video, because that helps you achieve looks that you can't get from, you know, any other kind of brush, and can kind of help contribute to your own style, your personal style. Work through artist block. Yeah. Yeah, artist block is, and burnout, things like that. That's something I want to hit pretty heavy in the new year. Primarily because that's, I mean, as you guys know, that's something that I've been struggling with quite a lot for the last couple of years. So, yeah, that's something I definitely want to spend some time on, because I know I'm not the only one. I know everybody kind of goes through it at some point, to varying degrees and in varying ways. But yeah, that's something I really, really want to hit hard. All right, let's see what's happening with some trees in the back here. Hello, welcome, Paul. Good. I'm glad that the challenge is helping you. I was kind of hoping, you know, that it might help me too. It does not seem to have been helping me, but yeah, you guys have been killing it, and it's just making me really, really happy to see. Just trying to find some little tree shapes in here without getting too like sticky, you know. I don't want it to look like these big drawn, crisp, intentional lines. Maybe if I flip it upside down. Oh, hello, Joe. I will try and remember from now on. Turning things upside down, guys, really gives you a different perspective on what you're doing. If you feel like your trees are always very stiff and they always look, very samey, flip your canvas upside down. And I'm doing these pretty light, pretty transparent. This is, I want these trees to feel like they are halfway between these distant smoky ones and the foreground. I don't want it to feel like we went from distant to wall of trees right in front of us. So I am still keeping them kind of transparent and soft. Stop bouncing like that. Good grief. I think this canvas is a little tweaked, so. Yeah, do it upside down. You always paint yours upside down? That's awesome, Annie. So, my challenge to you, Annie, is if you start feeling awkward about your trees, because that happens, try them upright and see how that changes it for you. Painting upside down is actually a really good, drawing especially, is a really good way to help you learn to see your subject as shapes and colors and not as, this specific thing that has a very specific form or, to avoid kind of putting it in icon, painting it like an icon, right? Like, so what I mean by that is we know what a tree looks like, right? If I give you a pencil and a piece of paper and I say, in 10 seconds, draw a tree, we all pretty much know what we would draw and it would be readable as a tree no matter how good or bad the image was. So that's what I mean. It's got an icon to it. Like a house. If I said draw a super simple house, you draw a square with a triangle on top. But painting upside down kind of forces you to see like beyond that, and so I really like to do that. Yeah, painting the narrow branches downwards is definitely easier. And here's another thing though, Annie. You can still paint your branches upside down when you are painting upside right. So starting from the tip of the branches and coming in toward the trunk is going to give you a different look than starting at the trunk and going out toward the branches. So, yeah. And I like to scribble a little bit and use my brush incorrectly. This Payne's Gray is so transparent. If I water it down too much, it doesn't show up. So thankfully I've got a little a bottle of soft body. I don't use it often, but it is really good when you need saturation but also flow. There we go. That is much better. Some heavy body colors, when you thin them down too much, you don't get, to get flow, you don't really get any of the color. Payne's Gray is definitely one of those. That is too much, but that's okay. There we go. All right, let's see. Yeah, that's looking better. Except I didn't get much going on over here. I don't like that. Let's see what we can do. Yep. Yeah, always feel free to turn your canvas however you need. That tree was not working. Goodbye. I like the space being open, and I feel like that closed it off too much. I will never forget, I had somebody yell at me one time because I turned my canvas upside down in a video. I don't remember what I was doing, probably painting branches or something, or I just needed a better angle on something. So I turned my canvas upside down, and this lady ripped me apart. She's like, you don't need to do that because you're just showing off and blah blah blah. And I was like, yeah, I'm showing off. Here, this is how you turn a canvas upside down. Wasn't that cool? I don't know, man. People are goofy. Starting to look a little tight. Let's see how I can loosen it up. So this is my long liner, but I'm just kind of like scrubbing back and forth like that with it. There we go. That's starting to look a little better. I think I'll probably push this back into the distance a little bit more. Oh, wow. It's been almost an hour already. Let's see. Anybody have anything fun planned for today? For when we're done here? I am probably going to stick my headphones on my head and keep working on this painting, because it's definitely given me what I need today. Yeah, I'm going to push that back farther. We'll have this side be closer. One other piece of advice I have for tree branches before we go is work in short brush strokes, rather than saying, okay, I need my tree branch to come from here and go out to here. Maybe, like I was saying, Annie, about starting at the tip of the branch and working toward the trunk, but do it in short, like scratchy brush strokes. See how those, each one of those is about half an inch to an inch long, but I'm varying it up. Just those kind of broken branches. I think they read a little bit more, I hate to say realistically, but they just don't look as stiff when there's some break in there. Bring this guy down a bit. This is, it depends on the color. And what brand did you get, Eileen? Did you get Overtone? So it depends on the brand. This one, the pink starts fading pretty quick. The first time I wash my hair, it will probably be about half this. But then if I didn't do it again or use my daily conditioner, this would probably fade out almost completely in a few weeks. But yeah, I use a daily conditioner on it too. So I have one where I color it with the conditioner and then a daily conditioner. So that's why it's so bright, because I just used it yesterday. So, oh, it's 8 o'clock. It's almost bedtime. That sounds good. Good, Christy. I'm glad that helped. Yeah. So I think I'll let you guys go. I'm going to go keep plowing ahead on this one and see where it takes me. And yeah, so this is probably the last one that we'll do until, let me see, let me look at the calendar. Oh, Caracolor. I've never used that one. I'm not sure. Let's see. Where's my calendar? We can probably do one next week if you like. Maybe next Monday or Sunday. We can maybe do one Sunday. And then after that, we'll have January, and we'll get back into a regular flow in January. Yeah. Sound good? Okay. So I'm going to let you guys go, and because my brain is about to shut right off, and I will see you again soon. And always feel free to send me ideas for things that you want to talk about, and I will see you guys again soon. Goodbye.